Sup witches, this is 90 Hermit, and today we're doing the Hierophant card. So we're continuing the connecting with the tarot cards journey, and we're coloring the Hierophant card. So this is this week's homework. And we had to read in 78 Degrees of Wisdom about the Hierophant card, and in this book about the Hierophant card. So for the book list, you can also see the book list on the YouTube video underneath. There's a list of books to buy about the tarot coloring journey that I'm doing. So this week I put this card on my altar, if I can call it that way. So I have a place where I have a bunch of tarot stuff, and I put this card on this stand. So basically what happened to me this week is that I decided to watch the Wild Country on Netflix about Osho, or Rajneesh, the guru that moved from India to Oregon and sort of develop a new ashram there. So it was quite interesting, and I don't know why I felt drawn to watch it, but every week as we do the card, I think about the card and something happens, you know. And this time I was watching how this guru built this huge community of followers, which kind of resonated with the card, right? Because this is the card of a spiritual leader. This could be a priest, this could be the Pope, this could be a guru, right? So let's get to the books. In this book, what was interesting, so I highlighted that there's also lilies and roses on the robes of his two followers, and lilies and roses would represent purity and love, and they're also found in the Magician card, right? Also, if you know anything about Christianism, just pay attention that there's 3 crosses on his robe. There are sort of the cross that he's holding has 3 lines, and his crown has 3 stages, if we can call it that way. It's a threefold crown, which could link to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in the Christianism. Now, there's 2 keys at the bottom of the card, and Rachel Pollack wrote that in another version of the tarot, the 2 keys are of different color, which could mean the duality of things, while in the Rider-Waite, the 2 keys are of the same color. And if you pay attention to the other major arcana, like the High Priestess, she has 2 pillars of different colors. The Chariot has 2 Sphinx of different colors. The Lovers have 2 different people, like Adam and Eve, or a man and a woman. The tree that's burning, the tree that's not burning. And this card has 2 pillars, but they're the same color. So there's kind of less of a duality here, if you know what I mean. Then Rachel Pollack also wrote that the keys at the bottom of the card, in some versions, the High Priestess holds a book that's kind of sealed, and these keys could actually go back to the High Priestess and open the secrets of that book. So now getting back to this one, is there anything else? Oh, well, the 2 fingers, hold on, I'm trying to do it. There you go. Yeah, the 2 fingers could represent a blessing sign, right? And just do it with me. Try to place your hands like that. It's not easy. Like, my whole hand is kind of twisted, and it's kind of hard to reach the bottom. I don't know, maybe if I do this hand it's easier, but just do it and see how you feel. Like, I feel almost like it's a sign, hey, it's okay, or like, I don't know. this is how I just felt by doing this. Now, what else? Oh yeah, this book talks about the two pillars that are gray, and they mark out a large building. It could be an academy, a community of believers. So basically it could be a building that has some room for a bunch of people for a big gathering or something. Now, if we go to the 78 Degrees of Wisdom book, so let's see what I highlighted. This card indicates the intellectual tradition of the person's particular society and his or her education in that tradition. It could be guiding somebody who's guiding spiritual growth. Then I highlighted, to really discover God inside you and inside yourself, you must undergo some uncomfortable confrontations with your own psyche. And so let's read about the keys. The cross keys at the Hierophant's feet are gold and silver, representing the outer and inner ways, the sun and the moon, the magician and the high priestess, which the doctrine teaches us to combine. That was in another version of the tarot, the Bota version, B-O-T-A. While in the Rider-Waite pack, both keys are gold, indicating that the dark side is hidden from those who follow the outer doctrine. Also, in this book, The 78 Degrees of Wisdom, she talks about this might have been a card that would represent initiation to a certain pathway, a spiritual path, an initiation. So, a general meaning for this: churches, doctrines, education in general, conformity to society's ideas and codes of behavior, a surrender of responsibility. So, also, if we look at another type of meaning, so if we're talking about the emperor who was symbolizing rules, the Hierophant would indicate our own inner sense of obedience. So we obey certain rules on our own decision. And if we look at this card reversed, we talk about the people who reject. So let me read this quote. Those who reject the tradition must find their own ways and can easily get lost in superficial ideas. So it's rejecting tradition, rejecting the not conforming to a society, for example. And if we go to the tarot coloring book by Theresa, we can read about it's kind of throwing the rules out of the window. That summarizes it all. It's time to examine your beliefs. So, this week was about the Hierophant, and next week will be about the Lover's card. Right? So, pay attention to how you feel next week. Get out the card and put it somewhere so you can see it and reflect on it while you color it and study this card next week. Alright? Thank you for joining me.